Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 10th February 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 5 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says Bangalore scientists develop a new Marigold variety. So this article mainly talking about new Marigold variety. So this article will be important regarding economy point and as well as regarding environment. So how it is related to economy point, so you will come to know, okay. So now let's get started with our discussion and let us see about this topic in detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that IIHR has 2.8% of carotene content. So recently new Marigold variety came up with this Bangalore scientist from IIHR. So what happened because of this high carotene content here? So this will very important to fetch some additional income or additional money here, even they got spoiled. So if you are talking about this flower variety, that is Marigold variety, so it is mainly the price of this flower mainly depend on in market regarding their freshness. So if they are very fresh, then they will get some high money value, and if they are spoiled, then they will get lost their value here. So generally these flowers in market, they lost their value if they get spoiled because of any rain or delay in harvest here. So because of this new variety of this Marigold which came up with this Bangalore scientist, so they had about 2.8% of carotene, okay. So this will fetch money even if they get spoiled here, because these types of fruit, these types of flowers which mainly contain high percentage of carotene, that can be mainly used for extraction of crude carotene. So this crude carotene will be very important for the pharmaceutical sector. So if you see some facts regarding this article, normally carotene content in this Marigold will be 1.4%, and if you see this new Marigold variety, that contains 2.8% of this carotene. So if you see these flowers, they are mainly used for ornamental purpose, and also they have high demand for this carotene in especially pharmaceutical sector. If you are talking about our carotene, we are importing this carotene from other countries and as well as especially China here. So whenever we are increasing our carotene content in this Marigold flowers, then we can decrease our imports on these countries. So because of this, it will be important regarding an economy point also. Now let us see next article. Title says cutting trans fats. So this article mainly focusing on trans fats. So what are these trans fats? Whenever vegetable oil which treated with hydrogen, then we get this trans fats, and they are very much similar to that of ghee and as well as butter, etc. So these are trans fats. If you see some concerns regarding this trans fat, they will cause severe heart disease, we can say coronary artery disease, and also some formation of this accumulation of this fats in this blood vessels. That will be one important cause of concern when we are using this trans fats. So now let us try to discuss this article in great detail, and this article will be very important regarding health point of view, which comes under GS paper 2. So if you see background of this trans fat, India will join a select group of countries to limit this industrial trans fat to 2% by mass of its total oil or fats by 2022. Recently, India came up with provision that we need to limit our trans fat in our food materials. And India would achieve WHO target in a year advance when we are going with this type of limitations on this trans fat. So if you are talking about targets which are placed by government, first one is in mid 2016 trans fat content that is limited mainly from 10% to 5%. And in December 2020, FSSAI also capped this trans fats by 3% by 2021, and we need to decrease this trans fat level by 2% by 2022. So if you are talking about these trans fats, they are naturally present in red meat and as well as dairy products. So if you are seeing here, we are mainly targeting emulsions and as well as margarine. So these are two important major sources of this industrial trans fat. So we need to reduce this trans fat content to 2% here. If you say cause of concern regarding this trans fat, Even fat or oil mainly contains less than 2% of trans fat. So whenever we are repeatedly using those, for example, even at fast food centers or bhaji centers or tiffin centers, they will be using these oils in a repeated use, though they are containing less than 2% of trans fat. So by repeated use of this at high temperature, then that will increase this trans fat content. So it is one cause of concern. So in this way, mainly we need to focus how to cut down this trans fat content. So because they have some negatively altering lipocholesterol profile in oil. So because of whenever we are going for repeated heating of used oil, then what happen? Levels of HDL will be improved. So this low density cholesterol, that is very harmful to our health. So it is also called as bad cholesterol. So whenever level of bad cholesterol is increasing, level of good cholesterol, that is high density cholesterol, that is HDL will be decreased. So good cholesterol is decreasing and bad cholesterol is increasing. So because of these changes in this lipoprotein cholesterol profile, that will increase risk of cardiovascular diseases. So if you see some case studies across countries, in 2004, first country that became to limit this trans fat content in all food here is Denmark. And later on, European Union also adopted similar restrictions themselves on this trans fats. So if we are talking about, according to World Health Organization report, about 32 countries, they already have some form of mandatory limits on this trans fats. So what are benefits when we are going for limiting of this trans fats? So if you are saying in Denmark, 3 years after cap on this trans fat, reduction about 14 deaths they are attributing to heart disease, cardiovascular disease for every 1 lakh people. So for every 1 lakh people, there is decreasing of 14 deaths that is seen in this Denmark after this provisions. And what is a solution? What is a way forward? So first one is this trans fat that can be completely eliminated and they can be replaced with healthier substitutes without any change in their taste and as well as cost. Correct? So why we are moving towards this trans fats? Because of cost wise, they are very affordable. So if you are going for ghee, for example, if you take 800 rupees per kg of ghee, if you are going for other alternatives of ghee regarding this trans fat, it is just 250, 300. So because even those middle income group people, they will also affordable to this trans fat rather than that of this ghee. So because of this, we need to go and we need to search for other alternatives rather than this trans fat, and we need not to compromise on taste and as well as cost of this trans fat. So if you see WHO, it mainly says that a dozen of large multinational food companies, they are mainly committed to eliminate industrially produced trans fat by 2023. So this is gist of this article. I hope it is clear. And now let us see next article. Title says belated but bold. So this article mainly focusing on disinvestment policy. So what is disinvestment? If you have any company and you are selling some share of this company to other person, so that is called as disinvestment. Okay. So this article mainly focusing on strategic disinvestment policy. So recently in our budget we talked about how to increase non-tax revenue. So one form here is disinvestment. Okay. So now let us try to understand this article in great detail. So in budget 21-22, so our finance minister said that there will be increase in tax revenue and also non-tax revenue. So this non-tax revenue that will come mainly from large scale monetization of government sector asset, and also there is large vast tracts of land. So they will go for disinvestment and as well as disinvestment in mainly public sector undertakings like Air India, BPCL, etc. So recently we also came up with the new strategic disinvestment policy. So under this new strategic disinvestment policy, public sector enterprises, general insurance companies, and also privatize some public sector banks, and also talks about state government that will exit all business regarding non-strategic sectors. They include atomic energies, coal, space, petroleum, defense, power, transport and telecom. So if you are talking about history of disinvestment in India, we started disinvestment in 1990s onwards. Now in this budget mainly talked about disinvestment mainly regarding some public sector undertakings such that it will increase non-tax revenue. So what happened now, execution is very tactful and it will be very critical here mainly at this position, because already if you are seeing stock markets, Nifty and we can say Sensex, they are showing high. And if you're talking about financial capacity of this potential bidders in this COVID-19 period, so it is also good. So it is not optimal whenever we are going towards this disinvestment. So what is need? The need or way forward here is we need to create some confidence in sale processes. We need to ensure assemblance of fair valuations. We need to go for proper audits, and we need to manage electoral pressures in jurisdictions. So this is just of this article. Now let us see next article. Title says POCSO doesn't prove dilution. So this article mainly focusing on POCSO. So this will be very important topic under polity. Okay. Now let us try to understand this article in great detail. So before saying this, first you need to know some background regarding this POCSO. This POCSO Act mainly deals with sexual offences regarding children and mainly protect children against this sexual assault. Okay, so this article mainly talking about some important criticism regarding this POCSO and what can be done. Okay, so this is the thing which is discussed in this article. If you see context or background here, so this POCSO Act mainly stands for Protection of Children from Sexual Offences, enacted in year 2012. So this POCSO Act mainly enacted in 2012. So important aim of this POCSO Act, it is to protect children who are aged below 18 years of age from sexual assault. So as I said, this POCSO Act mainly related to protect children against sexual assault who are of below 18 years of age, and this act enacted in year 2012. So if you're talking about this POCSO Act, number of sexual offences against children, so whatever provisions which are present under this POCSO Act, they are neither specifically provided for extant and they are not adequately penalized. So whatever some sections which are present in this act, it is not well written or not well defined to deal with these cases regarding these children. So offences against children be defined explicitly and also countered through commensurate penalties. Normally whenever we want to come up with any law or any act, then what happen, it will have some provisions. Those provisions should be clearly defined anything. So what is the purpose, what is aim, what can we do, there should be no loopholes. But if you see some provisions of this POCSO Act, they are defined explicitly and also countered mainly through commensurate penalties here. So if you are talking about criticism regarding this POCSO, recent judgment of Bombay High Court regarding Satish Ragde versus State of Maharashtra. So in this recent case, that is Satish Ragde versus State of Maharashtra, Bombay High Court mainly acquitted person found guilty of assault on ground that he grouped his victim over her cloth. There is no skin to skin contact. So this is one important criticism regarding this POCSO Act. So if you are talking about penal provisions regarding this sexual assault against children, we have this POCSO Act, and also some sections of Indian Penal Code also talks about that. So if you are talking about section 7 of POCSO Act, it mainly says that sexual intent touching any private parts of children that commit to a sexual assault. If you are talking about section 8 of POCSO Act, it mainly says that minimum imprisonment of 3 years for sexual assault. And if you are talking next one, that is section 354 of Indian Penal Code, it mainly lays down a minimum of 1 year imprisonment for outraging the modesty of women. So this outraging of modesty, it is similar to that of molestation. Okay. So in this way, there are some differences between IPC and POCSO Act. So what are differences here? There are two important differences here. The first one is definition of assault or criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. Then it is given under this IPC. So IPC mainly says that whenever there is intent to outrage her modesty, so it will comes under sexual assault. So if you are talking about POCSO Act, it is generic. And next one is IPC mainly provides punishment for offence irrespective of any age of victim. But this POCSO Act mainly says that it is specific to children who are below age of 18 years, and under this POCSO Act, punishment will be higher compared to that of this IPC. And if you see some important case, that is Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan. So in this case, Supreme Court held that offence related to modesty of women, that is molestation, that cannot be treated as a simple issue or little punishment. We should give some more punishment here. And next case here is Papu versus State of Chhattisgarh 2015. So in this case, Chhattisgarh High Court acquitted the accused under Section 354 of IPC, and offence mainly found lacking in use of criminal force or assault because there is lack of skin-to-skin contact. So if you're talking about UK in 2003, so it under this Sexual Offence Act in UK, it mainly says that touching mainly including any part of body with sexual intent, then that will comes under sexual assault. There is no need of only skin-to-skin contact. So this is difference between laws of India and laws of other countries, especially in UK. So in this way, POCSO Act might be silent on such necessities and also body integrity of women. So POCSO Act mainly says that if at all there is any skin-to-skin contact, then only that will comes under sexual assault. So because of this lack of skin-to-skin assault, mainly in many cases, then what happened? We are not protecting rights of children. Okay, we are not protecting children's bodily integrity. So in this way, this POCSO Act mainly requires skin-to-skin touch. It is mandatory element. So because of this mandatory element, it is mainly diluting some protection of children here. So because of this, we can declare this as ultra vires. Okay, so these are some important things that you should remember regarding this article. And now let us see mains question. What are provisions of POCSO Act? What are criticisms and suggest some measures to protect children from sexual assault? Please try to write answer for this question. And now let us see next article. Title says dams and damages. So this article mainly related to Uttarakhand floods, flash floods. So from past 3 days onwards, we are discussing about this topic, and I think there is no need of explaining what are basics regarding glacial outburst. So what happened in this, what is avalanche, etc. Right? So we already have a detailed discussion in our Hindu analysis and also even in our PIB analysis. Now let us see what is written in this article that is important from UPSC point of view. So this article will be important regarding environment and ecology, which comes under GS paper 3. So if you see, recently landslip that happened in Uttarakhand in Nanda Devi Glacier, so that led to flash floods. So because of these flash floods mainly in 2 rivers, that affected 2 hydropower projects. First one is Rishiganga hydropower project. Next one is Tapovan Vishnugad hydropower project, which is located on river Dhauli-Ganga, and this Rishiganga power project which is located on river Rishiganga. So in this context, we need to talk about safety of dams. In 2019 June 6, Uttarakhand High Court mainly questioned use of explosive on this Rishiganga site. So they are going for illegal mining mainly in name of dam construction, and they are also using explosive for other infrastructure projects for laying of roads in this fragile Himalayan state. So as we know, in this Uttarakhand there are Himalayas are present. Himalayas are passing through this Uttarakhand. So as we know, these Himalayas, they are young folded mountains and they are tectonically active. Okay, so these are tectonically active sites. So we can expect there are higher range of earthquakes that may happen, and also we saw there are some monsoonal outburst, or we can say torrential rains that happen in this region. So because of this, in 2013 also that led to flash floods in this Uttarakhand. So not only this illegal mining and as well as explosive blasting here, but also we are going for deforestation. So deforestation mainly went for construction of dams in this area. So whenever we are going for deforestation, according to CAMPA, we need to go for compensation and afforestation in other place. So this compensation and afforestation is also norm under this, but it is often flouted. We are not going for compensatory afforestation here. And next one is construction material mainly supposed to be dumped in separate land, but they are often dumped in these rivers. So because of dumping of this construction material in these rivers, what happened? Carrying capacity of these rivers will be decreased. That will lead to flooding. And one important committee that formed in 2013 after this Uttarakhand flash floods, name of that committee here is Chopra Committee. So this Chopra Committee report that submitted in year 2014. So this committee mainly studied about dams exacerbate a disaster such as flood. And this committee mainly formed in year 2013 mainly to assess whether dams exacerbated this 2013 floods or not here, mainly in this Kedarnath valley. So in 2013 flash floods that happened in Uttarakhand mainly because of torrential rainfall or cloud outburst. So final report mainly said that dams are not only damaging environment, but also it is causing this floods. and there is damage that is seen extremely in these downstream areas. So because of this destructive capacity of this water which is flowing in these areas after this flash floods, after damage of this dam, then that will leads to damage not only for animal but also for environment, and also even it will leads to loss of lives mainly in these downstream areas. And this report mainly suggested that out of 24 projects, 23 projects they are revealed, and this report mainly said that those 23 projects they need to be cancelled here, mainly to decrease damage that are going to cause in near future. So if you're talking about climate change, so if you are seeing there is increasing global temperature, so we are seeing global warming. So because of this global warming, Himalayan glaciers they are receding. That means we are seeing Himalayan retreat, it is happening. So earlier size of this glacier it is this much, but because of this warming and as well as climate change, size of this glacier which is decreased. So this is called as glacier retreat. So because of this increase in global warming or increase in climate change or increase in temperature, we are seeing glacial retreat, and also these glaciers they are disintegrating. That is mainly resulting to climate change. So snow cover it is mainly thinning because of climate change. So recent research studies also said that there is increase in number of glacial lakes that have direct impact because of increase in temperature. So because of this increasing melting of these glaciers, that led to increase in level of water in these reservoirs, and also in this tectonically active area there is also threat of earthquakes. So if you are talking about Uttarakhand, it is mainly present in seismic zone 4 and 5. So these areas are highly prone to earthquakes. So in these areas, whenever we are going for dams construction, then it will lead to some environment impact and also some economical impact. So in this way, we should not ignore disastrous impact of this rampant dam building in this exclusively seismic zone of 4 and 5 here. So in these dams, we can also talk about the silting. So because of this rivers which are moving, so they have tendency to bring some more silts and as well as sediment that will lead to decrease in capacity of this dams here. So because of this, that may also leads to flooding. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this article. So finally, I want to make one small announcement. We came up with this current affairs package course. In this course, we are exclusively focusing on current affairs and also mains answer writing practice. So if you ask me importance of this current affairs, about 50 to 60% of questions that will come from this current affairs. It may be prelims or it may be mains or it may be even interview here. If you are getting any static based questions, so these static based questions they are mainly from this current affairs. So mastering of this current affairs is important to clear UPSC. And if you are talking about mains answer writing practice, answer writing skills are very important to clear UPSC, mains especially. So without proper answer writing skills, you cannot clear UPSC for sure. If you are enrolling to this course, we will be also providing prelims practice question on week basis along with video solutions. So in this way, you will be mastering current affairs, you will be improving your answer writing skills, and you will be practicing this practice questions also. So in this way, this course is exactly focusing on what is demand of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing. So please don't take this course as a choice. Please try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. By this, we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.